you thinking of coming to study in Finland as an international degree program student or as an exchange program student? I have a few tips that would help you settle in during the first few weeks, at least when you're here in Finland. So let's get started with the tips. Okay, so tip number one, queue. So I don't know, cultures are different, but in Finland, in the school cafes, lunchtime is normally around 11 a.m. So most students, most classes end approximately around the same time. So you'll find many students queuing. So you as a student, you cannot see a friend of yours somewhere in front and then you go and cut the queue. You cannot do that. It's not allowed. You just have to queue just like everyone else. So remember, queuing is very important. Number two, trash is separated according to the type, be it biodegradables, glasses, metals, cardboards, papers, etc. So you've got to sort them nicely in the house, because when you take them outside where the rest of the huge places where you put every trash there, it's always labeled, it's written what goes where. So you've got to remember to sort your trash accordingly. And of course, stuff like medication, old meds are taken back to the pharmacy takes them back, and batteries and old electrical appliances, they are taken back to the shops. There is a place that takes back these things, so do not throw these old stuff and meds in the trash. They don't belong there though, so it's very important that you know how to sort the trash. So tip number three, walk on the right side. I mean, here the rule, I think this rule came from driving on the right side, because here you always keep right when you're driving. So it's the same thing. I think when you're walking, everyone keeps on the right. So if you are walking like this, so if I'm going like this, so I have to be on the right, and the people who are on the other side, they have to keep their right, so they will be on that side, so that you don't find some confusion. A good example was when I came to Finland, I didn't know anything about this rule, so I just walked aimlessly, and it was so embarrassing, because I just found myself, I don't know, bumping into people. But if you know this rule, you will not feel embarrassed and everything is gonna go well. Tip number four, the eating timings. Well, in the student cafeteria, like we talked about, there's enough students going to have lunch at the same time at approximately around 11. So there's a queue. So the lunch times are always at 11 a.m. Not earlier, not later, rather not later. So, and then of course, as a student, you can have your breakfast, whatever the time you want to have when you come from your house or your apartment. But then, other than that, the eating times in Finland are different than some other countries, so because then again, there's the dinner at 4 p.m. and then of course, if you want, then you can have some evening snack around 7 or 8 p.m. thereabouts. So these are the timings. Normally, these are the timings that are observed, but because we're talking about students, at least for lunch in the school, you have to remember the lunch is always served at 11 a.m. So remember that. And the next tip is noise. So I know students, I mean, if I would say something about studying life, my bachelor's degree, it was really, really exciting. I mean, there was lots of, events going on. And of course, our tutors at the time had organized some, stuff. So student tutor studies. So there was a lot of events going on. So remember, when you have some kind of a, event in your house or friends staying over till late and there's some music, so remember to get rid of loud music or noise by 10 p.m. Otherwise, if you think your noise or people staying or students staying in your place past 10 p.m., you have to remember to warn your neighbors, so normally students stay in student apartments, so you've got to let the other students know in good time, write a notice and put it somewhere on the hallway, somewhere where they can read and remember, okay, so-and-so is having some kind of a event and there might be noise. So if you fail to do that and you have some kind of a noise or along a night and there are people who are talking loudly, someone is going to call the police on you. So remember that. The next tip is like stopping the buses. By that I mean there's a way you stop the buses. Otherwise, then the buses don't stop automatically. So you stop the buses, like if the bus is coming from over there, you hold your hand as long as the bus driver is gonna see you. So you don't just put your hand anywhere because the bus driver would be confused what you mean. You don't put your hand like here as if you're in class or something, or I don't know, some down there. You have to like confidently stretch your hand towards just in front of the bus and have your hand there for as long as the driver is gonna see you. Other than that, if you don't do that or for some reason you're not visible enough, there's a possibility that the bus will just gonna pass you by and just go. I have an example, like, of course, I studied in Coca-Cola and it's a smaller town, so there are no buses really going on there. So I moved to Helsinki and I didn't know this rule again. So I remember I had gone to a place and these buses were passing every 15 minutes. So the first time I'm there at the bus stop and in my mind I'm like, oh, it's gonna stop automatically. But it just passed by and I thought, wow, what's really going on, But then the second one, which came 15 minutes later, it passed me by and I started thinking, why are these buses just passing me by? I don't know, none of it is stopping. So what's going on? So I kind of like had been there for like 30 minutes. So I thought I had to change my plan and use a tram, go to the city, and then from there I take a train back home. So it was kind of like, I would have like saved enough time had I known of these rules. So it's very important that you stop the buses if you want to get into a certain bus. Now this rule applies to the metropolitan area, like Helsinki, Espoo and Vantaa, because this place has buses within the municipality. So you've got to like stop the buses. So if you want to go somewhere, other than that, then it's just gonna go. The next tip, student tutors. You don't have to worry about coming to Finland and you don't know anything or anyone, or even if you knew someone, like, you don't have to stress about it too much, because the student tutors, they are actually trained to welcome you. I myself, I was a student tutor when I was doing my bachelor's degree program, and we were taken to some kind of we had this kind of like weekend getaway on a Saturday, and then I think we went back on Sunday, and we were, tutored on how to welcome new students. And there's a lot involved in, choosing these student tutors who will in turn help the new students to settle in. A few responsibilities that student tutors do are like taking the students, or rather showing them where the shops are, where the banks are, showing them around the school and telling them a few tips on how to settle in, from someone's point of view, from their own point of view, the do's and the don'ts, etc. So the student tutors have a lot of responsibilities, and they volunteer. But it's something really exciting to get to let or tell other people like how to, give tips on how to settle in. So you don't have to worry. There's someone who will take care of you or who will tell you a few things. And as long as you want to know about, something, don't worry, just look for your student tutor, and ask them. And you don't have to feel like you're wasting their time, because that's what they are trained to do. They are there for you. For as long as you talk about settling in matters or issues, they are ready to help you. So don't be shy. And the last tip is keeping time. Of course, everyone knows about this, keeping time. So attending classes, the Finnish culture is that kind of a culture that respects time. You cannot be late to something. If it's attending a lecture, you have to be there on time. You cannot be late by some minutes, or I don't know. If something comes up you cannot attend, please let the lecturer know. So the responsible lecturer. So if you won't manage to go entirely to the class, or you'll be late, so you have to let them know. So, and if for some reason it came so sudden, that morning something came up and you cannot attend, please call. It's always polite to let them know by, you call or send an email. So it's always nice to let them know in advance. But, for you who is coming to Finland to study, either to study international degree program or exchange program, welcome to Finland. In Finnish it said, tervetuloa Suomeen. With that in mind, I wish you all guys a nice summer and see you next time. Bye.